We are here to talk about our Offensive Hub. It is the newest product by Reflectiz, and it's based on AI accelerating both the attack surface and the solution when it comes to offensive security. Ysrael is going to talk about it in a minute. Ysrael is our, of course, if you don't know, he's our CTO and co-founder. He's a veteran hacker, actually not a current hacker as well, but ethical one. And he's come from a lot of many years of offensive security, which he has translated into the Offensive Hub, which is our, again, newest release.
Yes, thank you, Maayan, for the introduction. I can hear you. I hope you can hear me as well.
Yes, I can. Thanks for joining. Really excited to do this live with you. I'm not giving any more introduction for the product. I want you to talk about the product. So let me know when you want me to start switching slides.
I will talk a little bit about my background as an ethical hacker. I know that a lot of people hearing hacker, they think that is something very suspicious. No, this is something that is very traditional today, to have companies ask you to do penetration testing. You probably all know. You're probably doing it for yourself also. And as an ethical hacker, my day job was basically to surf websites. I was going through the entire website, looking technically behind the scene to see what actually happening and what the browser is doing, and then putting my mindset and experience and all that I got to try to bypass or to run some attacks over this website, this target. One example I can give you that I was doing, I believe that a lot of you are familiar with the term bug bounties. So I was doing bug bounties for my fun times. So for example, I was surfing Google Gmail for using my Gmail account, while also using my proxy, Burp. I think that most of you are familiar with the term Burp. And this is a tool that proxying your network activity and let myself, the attacker, to see what's happening and try to play with that. So I was surfing Gmail, and I will found one suspicious look for me, URL that has some number in that. So I started to play with this number to see what I got. And then I understand I can see multiple ways of views of this content. And then I realized I can actually control the content within it. And while playing with the content I uploaded, and also playing with the number that changed the view, I was able to have stored XSS within Gmail. It was basically got me to 22nd place in Google Hall of Fame for that, and also got me some money that I later used to found Reflectiz. So basically, Reflectiz was founded by Google and Facebook and Microsoft from bug bounties. From the first day, we know that we will build something that have the same capabilities of us. We started with the security hub for Reflectiz that providing you, as all you know probably right now, information about your third parties on your website and the behaviors and everything. And this came from our vast knowledge about how browsers works and how it should work when it works right. And we all know that we are going to do also penetration testing. From the beginning, we decided we want to focus on web apps, and web apps specifically are, by our view, it's the best way for an attacker to get to your account, to your website, to your company resources, because by intention, a web app is always open. It's supposed to be open. This is what it means to have. So if I try to get to the file, to your VPN or to your email account or something, I'm probably going to face a lot of protections that will try to stop me from blocking my IP to authentication and everything. The vast attack surface that I can see is the website of the company, because it's intentionally open to the world. This is the whole purpose of the website. From there, I can get to the database, to the internal apps, to even employee device, to everything, because it also always connects to internally to the entire organization. So we always started from the biggest problem that we saw. The biggest problem that we think that you have, and smart attacker can use this door to get everywhere, is a web app. To find something on your VPN, I probably need to find any 0-day or something on your VPN. To find something on your website, and also this is where most of your own code is written, I will probably find mostly for your website.
And in addition to that, I want to add that we talk a lot about how AI kind of also changed that domain, because code is written faster, it's being pushed into production faster, it's not being always written by developers, because it has democratized kind of development, so everyone can write code and push it to the site. As a marketing person, I know that sometimes we do it as well. So it kind of creates this jungle of code that is written. It is not necessarily.
This is. I think this is the next. This is the next slide here. So what has changed around the world regarding AI? So when we started in 2020, if everybody remember, I believe that everybody remember today, in 2020, GPT-2 was introduced to the world, and GPT-2 was completing a text very nice. So if you write one sentence, it was completing the next 2 sentences in a meaningful way, because of the context and all the change in the word that came from the transformers. And then in 2022, when GPT-3 was introduced to the world and was publicly available, everything was changed, because it was the first time that AI can actually write smart things, not just text completion, but also very smart new code. But this smart code wasn't so smart, because there was no reasoning behind that, what we call today reasoning, only AI that's writing text. And this was nice. In 2024, in about 2024, the company that behind the biggest models started to use something called reasoning. And reasoning basically allowing the model to think out loud and say, okay, I'm thinking I need to do that and that, so I will do that. And this reasoning basically thinking out loud. And because the AI is very good on text completion, the reasoning became very, very smart. And then we started to find novelty of smart AI actions in 2024. Then people, by the way, this was started in 2022, but was mostly started to be effective in 2024. We said, okay, what if we can ask the AI what tool you want to use? And then we will run the tool. We basically run the tool, but the AI will decide what you want to run right now, what you want to run next. And the harness of this entire action is what we call today agent. And the AI now saying, okay, I want to surf a website. Okay, my own tool is surfing the website and getting to the website with good old-fashioned browser. Now I return the data back to the agent that asks, okay, this is what I got, what you want to do next. And then the AI become very, very autonomously, and the agents become something that everybody today know. This is how it's changing the world every single minute. What the difference between AI and agent? AI, it's an engine, it's the brain behind that, but it's only the brain without anything else that it can use. The smartness and the agentic autonomous behavior come from the loop. So if in the past we was asking the AI and the AI was answering us, today this is a whole circle of the AI doing planning, acting, observing, planning, acting, observing until it finds its goal. So it can not just do one reply, but multiple replies. So today with AI, and everybody knows how it works today, the autonomous working of AI, it's something that was actually changed the world. And if we talk about penetration testing is actually changed and will change in the future because of this smartness that we can put inside. What is web penetration testing by agent? So when we talk about agent, we're thinking about a machine that can think and have a goal that it need to achieve. But between the thinking and the goal, there is a tools that connect them together and let the agent actually do what it's supposed to do. So the agent thinking, using tools and getting to the goal. Why this is better than humans? Because AI never came up in the morning and is hungry or need to drink some coffee or just have a bad night yesterday or whatever can affect people. Humans have their own benefits and their own disadvantages, and we know it. By the way, this is the best way today to have, so humanity wins. But the tools, the AI tools that we have, allow us to comply the human disadvantages by doing the consistent work that only AI can do. So if I'm telling AI to do something, it will do it. And if I tell him specifically, and this is what humans need to do here, to test everything and to tell it what actually testing, it will do it in the best way, non-sleeping, doing it fast, doing it accurate, and can report everything it was doing. So the differences between a human and AI, in the favor of the AI can do something in very, very with a full coverage way, and find something that human will miss just because they're not thinking about that. Human, by the way, will find the most creative, significant vulnerabilities, and they need to drive the AI to do the best work. But if you need to do something and you need to full coverage, you need AI to do that today.
And also, it's probably not every single pen tester, right? Because capabilities vary according to expertise and experience.
Yes, this is something that's very important because today, when you want the best penetration tester to do what you want, what you need, it will take time and effort to get him, and he's not probably available. And if you want to test something on a weekly basis, and this is very important today because of the AI pace of scanning, of creating a new code, you will probably not get the best human for it to do that easily.
Yeah, availability as well as cost. I'm sure that
yes.
It changes tools. All right,
yes.
so before we show maybe some of the do a short demo, I want to do a deep dive into the agent. So agentic pen testing has been trending for, I think, a few months now. It's been a huge kind of acceleration in companies and solutions that are popping up. And I think that the market's starting to understand that the shift from traditional to agentic is the natural one. It's just a natural progression. But I want you to kind of help us dive deeper into your thinking and understanding of our agent, how you train it, how you optimize it, basically your secret sauce. Maybe not all the secrets, but most of it or some of it.
Yeah, I will share some of the most secret stuff for myself. I'm sorry. But if we talk about basically how we built the offensive hub of Reflectiz, as myself as a hacker, and Idan, my partner, is also a hacker, and the great team that we have, we try to mimicate exactly what a human hacker will do because we know for many, many years of shaping this and making it better, that we have a good process today that can find many, very many vulnerabilities. We just need to give the AI the same tools. As we said before, the AI needs the tools so it can observe and think and again and again and again in the loop. The tools that it got, it won't stand between other tools to the way we built our tool. So the agent have few stages. First of all, it try to map the surface. And the way that we built mapping the surface was basically mimicking what a human penetration tester will do. We're not trying to write code that try to crawl some URLs and see the content, because this is not how human works. Human works in a very, very specific way that we know how it works. We are surfing the website, trying to get all over whatever we need. And while doing it, we are looking on the background to see all the network communication and all the actions that the browser is actually doing, and try to look for, I will call it, interesting parts. So basically what we built is a browser with kind of a proxy for all the network requests. And this browser is actually working. And the first stage is basically just going to the website and trying to do everything that we built. By the way, if you know Reflectiz already, you know that Reflectiz already built a browser for the security hub. So we on the best place there here to do that, and we're using all the knowledge from all the years of Reflectiz to actually doing the recon here. So Reflectiz know how to serve website, we know how to fill forms, we know how to log in. Everybody in here, I believe, knows that how we know and how we are acting on within a website. We know how to serve a website in the best way. So for the first stage, it's basically just using the same information that we already have, the same knowledge, the same, everything the same, basically. But then we are starting to shift to the agentic work by analyzing. So we started to analyze all the information that collected by Reflectiz dedicated browser while surfing the website. We're trying to look for the interesting point. And here the brain starts, because we said, okay, this is something that can potentially have this kind of attack. This is something that potentially can have this kind of attack. We started to map everything and create the work that should be done by the next agent. This is the one that actually tried to attack the website. So try to systematically every single attack type that is possibly on this specific endpoint, it tried every single attack, every single kind of payload. A human will actually try to find something that is most lovely. I can say for myself that the most lovable attack type for myself was XSS, cross-site scripting, because of the challenge that it's buried within it. I will always start with XSS every single time as a human with the doing penetration testing. I was starting with XSS. By the way, I found some interesting XSS in very interesting places, but maybe I'm missing some SQL injection, maybe not, maybe some SSRF. Either today, it's very, very important. All of that, the agent is doing equally important work for every single attack type on every single endpoint. And then you will get a validation. As you all know from Reflectiz, when we provide you alerts, we're doing a lot of job and a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that you get only the relevant alerts. We do the same for the Offensive Hub to validate every single finding that the attacker was finding, to make sure that you get only the gold, only the good stuff that you need actually to fix. Not just we will not try to give you 10,000 alerts like some automated tools that we all know how it works. And for the last stage, we give you a full finding as a coverage report, so you know that you are covered and you know that you are safe. One of the things that is very important when we talk about agent that doing the job and not a human that doing it, you agent with the right guidance and the right tools is always guarantees the coverage of the website. You know that every single thing that you have done, every single thing that the agent was trying to do is actually checked. And you get a list, you actually get a list, we'll talk about it a little bit later. You actually get a list of every single attack and every single thing that it tried to do on every single endpoint. You know it. You know that you are covered. You know that what was tested. By the way, if you see gaps, you can also ask the agent to check it again, because you said, okay, as a human, I know that there is a problem here. I know that there is something here. I will ask the agent to do another check here, but you know where there is a gaps. You know where there is, I don't know, an API that is not available to the website, and you actually want it to scan. You know it because you will see that it's not discovered during the recon.
Can you give just one insight? I know most people here have already, they understand this domain, but why is traditional PT usually best effort and not guaranteed coverage? Can you just give one sentence on why that is?
I can give many examples, but I will give actually example from what actually was found by Offensive Hub of Reflectiz. So we done a scan for a customer. We already have customer for this product. We've done a scan for a customer, and this customer have a small problem. Captcha reuse. You can reuse the same response from a captcha. This is not something that traditional human actually check because it's a rare case, not something that is very common. So if you have 1 week or 2 weeks to doing a scan, you will not try to focus on every single captcha or every single form on the website to make sure and validate it actually works. An agent don't have the decision. It can't decide, I will not do that. I will put my most interesting because I really like to find something very, very significant. The human can do it, but by the way, not by decision, but by the nature of a human that we are, as a humans, we have our advantages, we have our disadvantages. If we don't like something and if we don't believe it, we will find it, we will put less effort for that. Yes, a very experienced human with a lot of time will probably find it. But if you're doing a quick check of your website, you will probably lose it. Agent can't. Agent can decide I will not do that because I'm not allowing it. By the way, we will talk about it a little bit later. When we built the Offensive Hub, we built the basic. I believe that everybody try to build an agentic PT today. Everybody want to play with that. Everybody will ask their Cloud Code or something. If you're using Codex, I'm not judging, but most of us using Cloud Code today. But everybody try to say, okay, let's try to find vulnerabilities on our website. And this is, by the way, a very nice process. And Cloud Code can probably find stuff very, very easily and very, very nice. And this is very interesting. So we built it in the beginning. But then we understand that just to build an agent that's scanning a website, this is one problem to solve. In Reflectiz, we already have enterprise customers. You as a customers know that we try to provide something that's very valuable to the customers. And the value for enterprise customers is not just finding one or two interesting stuff, because this is nice. This is something that you can go, hey, look what I've done with Cloud Code today. I found something on, yeah, this is very interesting. But you need to have deterministic way to make sure that the agent is not doing what a human will do. Try to find only one thing on one place because it think this is where it's supposed to go. So if you read the reasoning for your Cloud Code when you try to do penetration testing on your website, you will see that is okay, this is interesting. I will look for that. Okay, this is nice, but this is not what we are for. What we are here for. We want something that will test everything. And to do that, we put a lot of effort to create a deterministic process that makes sure that you have full coverage of everything. So if the agents say, okay, I have 7 attack types I can use, I will try here SQL injection and XXE because this is very likely what we find it. Okay, this is nice. You will try it, but until you will test for all the 7 attack types that is possible here, the deterministic process will not allow you to continue. And the deterministic process is always on the guard to make sure you have a full coverage. So if you're looking for a very nice solution, this will be great to use Cloud Code. If you're looking for enterprise solution, you need something that will guard it and make sure that you have full coverage. And by the way, if you Cloud Code find 2 vulnerabilities, 5 vulnerabilities, I will answer it in a second.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 vulnerabilities or 5 vulnerabilities, this is amazing. The attackers today can be childs or young adults that try to use their own Cloud Code, and they will find the one vulnerability that your Cloud Code didn't find because it was focusing on something else. And then they will find a way to attack your website. So today, to have 70% coverage or 80% coverage, this is not possible anymore. You need 100% coverage. And if not, somebody else with a different prompt will hack your website. So today, this is not something to have not something that is nice to have. This is crucial today to have 100% coverage, and that's what we covered with this deterministic process. Regarding complex, so the way with the agent works, and if you wire rightly the hardness of the agent, there is we can show you in the demos, very sophisticated thinking. If you allow, we will talk about it a little bit later, how it's allowed by Reflectiz. But if you allow the agent to do very long and thoughtful reasoning, it finds stuff that is combined together that is very interesting. But we will talk about it later on the presentation, because this is something that we actually built. So I will talk about it a bit later. So as I said before, what you will get actually is today you will get a report from Reflectiz, because we built a report to be the best. But what we are building right now, and what we are you can see in our beta, you get not just the report of what we found, but also the coverage map of everything that was tested. How much you can see the payload, you can see how much effort was put for that. You can see every single payload, you can see every single response from that payload. You can see all the coverage and everything that's what's happening on your site. Let's talk a little bit about Reflectiz is not alone on this market. Definitely not. And everybody read about Mythos, and the thing that Mythos was actually attacking the NSA, I think, and they found in few hours everything. So what we need also today, or what we also else need, tools like Mythos and the rest of the agentic tools that was built for code, are basically relying on reading the source code. This is white box. White box, by the way, it's very important scan. So if you're using from yesterday codex with security from OpenAI, or using Mythos if you have an access to that, and you give it their source code, you will find very interesting stuff. And you, by the way, even with Opus 4.8, you can find very interesting vulnerabilities. And this is important to do, by the way. This is very important to do. But this is not the app. This is not the actual living app. This is the source code of the app. An app is something more complex than that. This is the code that's running behind specific server, behind specific firewall, behind specific. I can really give you, for one example from my past. I have found in Facebook Messenger a way that I can read everybody's else messages. And the problem was not by their code. It took them significant amount of time to find where the problem, what the roots of the problem, because this wasn't on the code. This was on one of the proxies on the middle that was validating and using the host header from the source request as access control allow region to the response. This wasn't on the code. It was on the wiring of all the systems together, and one system was moving to another and then to another. So at the end, we got the attack, not because something is broken on the code, but something was broken on the entire app that's actually running. So it's very important to read the source code and use Mythos if you have an access to that. This is very important. But if you want a complete penetration testing test on your website, you need something to run against the app, not a white box. Black box and gray box, this is important also today. And this is where Reflectiz is shining, because we believe that everybody knows here that Reflectiz don't want to install anything on your website. We are completely from the outside. We don't want we don't want to be part of the problem. We want to be only the solution. So we are running from the outside. from the outside, we're conducting the black box and the gray box, and then you can find stuff that the white box actually is missing. So yes, white box is important. Mythos is very important tool. Codex with security is very important tool, but you also need the penetration testing for that.
100%. Should we show a bit of the UI, or is there any other talking point before that?
Maybe I will talk a little bit about go to the next slide, about other ways to find. So one of the very important things that Reflectiz was built, and this is something that kind of unique on Reflectiz, we built it for web penetration testing. Yeah, I will talk about it in a second. So one of the things that's very important for Reflectiz was how we built the tool. The offensive hub of Reflectiz was built as a human attacker doing it. And we also only focusing on web. We're not trying to do right now anything else beside it, because Reflectiz, to remind you, is a web solution. And we are trying to have the best web solution around. So you have the security hub from Reflectiz that gives you the full visibility of your website. There you have the privacy hub from Reflectiz that will give you full visibility of the privacy on the website. And offensive of the web, it's something that Reflectiz provides. So we didn't build it to win CTFs. We didn't build it to write its own code and try to create attacks that nobody heard about that. We built it as a human that's doing penetration testing. And for that reason, we are winning, because if you're building a tool that's using crawl to read the website information, just for the agent to bypass, to send request with the right CSRF token, just for that can take a lot of time and a lot of effort of the test. When on Reflectiz, when we do it with a browser and proxy, like a human will do it, it's inheriting within the product. So for web testing, we built something that we think that is match to everything and can even match to human level. For everything else, we are not testing it. This is not Reflectiz solution. So if you want something for the web, that's what we built. And we built, I think, the best way to do that. For your question about false positives, so inherently in the product, it has two phases. One phase is discovery, and the other phase is validation. The validation phase is actually doing like a human penetration testing. When you get a report from a human penetration tester, you will get the screenshot, you will get everything that say, okay, here is the XSE. And I know that there is an XSE here because I have a catcher, and I see that there is a request from within your server to my server. I saw that on the response, there is content type text HTML, and within the response, there is the payload that I was sent. So here is an XSS. I can even give you a screenshot of the famous alert XSS on your website. So false positive, it's the easiest way to avoid here, because we are on the browser. We actually see what actually affecting a real human, a real visitor of the website, and we can see actually what is happening. So if you're talking about false positive, this is the less false positive possible, because you will get actual validation against actual browser. Maayan, we want to go to the demo?
Yes. All right, so we're going to go over how to set up the assessment. So I think I've said before, this is an early release. This is the main part we're going to show. We're not going to show the entirety of the features, but this is, I think, the pinnacle right now of the platform, which is setting up the agent. So you have assessment details. You're going to choose, the name and description for your agent, the scope. So let's do
the scope. I would just say the scope is based on your own on the site that you already have in Reflectiz. So you don't need you don't need to set a new website. You don't need to write again all the login details and everything. We already know it. We're already on Reflectiz. So you can just click on that and select whatever it needs.
Yes, exactly. And then you have continuous assessment and then a scheduled one. You can do it weekly or monthly or yearly. I think what's interesting here that it really depends on the need, and we hear from customers that there are many different needs and many different cadences that they're going to need for different agents. So you can kind of mix and match. There's going to be the summary of the credits that you will use because it's consumption based. So different settings are going to use different amount of credits, and you can see them as you define your settings. The intelligence is the interesting part. I would like you to elaborate on,
Yes.
Israel.
Yeah. So at the end, everybody knows today how it works on the AI world. On AI, you need to pay for consumption base because we also pay for consumption base because tokens today cost money. So there is, and from the other side, you don't always need the best hacker to do that. Sometimes you hiring the lower pay the hackers just to make sure that you are covered for the biggest stuff. So you can select to have a scanner. This is something that is very basic, almost none agentic use, only tools that running, as you know, as everybody know today. I don't want to put names on that, but everybody knows today that there is many tools that you are running today on your website to make sure that it is secured and no open ports, no non-vulnerability, non-CVEs and everything. This is a basic scanner. And then we're starting with 3 phases of possible thinking of the attacker, of the agent. So there is a junior attacker. This is something that is running, mapping the basics of the website, and then trying to, the mapping is done already by the Reflectiz tool, like the security tool, the browser that we created. And then it starts to look for the most obvious attacks and the most significant attacks, like XSS, like SQL injection, SQLi, the most obvious attacks. It will put some effort to that, some thinking effort. We are not losing it. We're not releasing it with no thinking, but it is not for the complex, sophisticated attacks. This is something that a junior attacker, somebody with that, imagine that you give a junior that's just finished his school to do a scan. So this is something very basic, and it will find. By the way, we always want to assure to provide value to Reflectiz customers. So even junior, and we tested this against real websites, will find interesting stuff. This is something important to understand. If there is something significant on the website, the junior will find it. But then
So
you can go to
just
yes.
to make sure, what is the when would you choose a scanner, or when would you choose a junior, for example?
Scanner you will probably use for things like PCI audits that you need to have a scanner to run. Junior, it's if you have a new development, for example, and only 2 pages, not significant change, only small code change, and you want to make sure that there is nothing very important here and there is no huge breach in the new code. Use the junior, and you will find probably small stuff, not small, but I'm sorry, the biggest stuff, but maybe a small amount of stuff. For the senior, I will do it basically a monthly or every 2 months on an application, because senior gets more thoughtful scan. Start to scan. It scans everything. It starting from it scans everything, all the possible attack types. You can see how the credit is jumping because it will do all the attack types. Will not miss anything. As we said before, full coverage. You already get it here. Starting of deeper thinking, maybe find some business logic bypasses, maybe a little bit more complex attacks. This is something I will use monthly, basically, or after every more significant release of code. The expert is the one that is the most interesting, but it's the most expensive. The expert has, for your question before, a lot of thinking behind that. So a lot of planning. It's not just, okay, I will scan the website. No. There is a plan. And after it's started to scan the website, it stops again and thinks again and said, okay, what can I achieve here? What can I combine together? Maybe I found one API here and then one API there, and maybe one other component on a different website. Maybe I can use this information to mimicate the request here because this is the same developers. Maybe it's the same behind the scene, the same construction of the request. This is the most significant scanner and the most significant, even by the way, also for business logic scenarios. This is something that we actually recommend to run once a year, twice a year or something. You can run it more if you need it. But this is something that is very, very important. And also, this is something that you can see here on the coming on the custom roles that's coming soon. It's actually going to interview you also and ask you what is important in your site. It's going to be also in senior, but for an expert, it's going to be more important. So you can say, okay, I'm a bank. I have money transfer. I want you to deeply see if I can transfer more money that I own on the bank. Maybe I can transfer, I can go to a debt more that I allowed. And here, the expert tried to do actually very, very sophisticated attacks and chain them together to find stuff that are very difficult to find other ways.
Mm-hmm. And again, what I want to mention is that because it's so customizable, what we hear from customers is that, yes, mixing and matching, like you said, a scanner for maybe audits or for weekly use, and then a more advanced scanning for bigger releases is something that's really ideal because it kind of, it ties everything together and it kind of closes the gap on everything that you need and all the testing needs that you have.
Yes.
Can you maybe talk a little bit more about custom rules and then other features that are coming soon that are not that we can't really show at the moment?
Yeah. So custom rules are basically can be on two ways. Custom rules can be on actually rules that you say, okay, this URL is not allowed, this endpoint is not allowed, this kind of attack is not allowed, for example, or put more effort on this kind of attack. The most important one is the rules that you created with LLM. So the LLM is actually, the agent is actually interviewing you and asking you questions. Like doing today with the human penetration testing, you are doing I forgot the words right now, sorry. You're doing the scoping with him. So it asks you, okay, where is the new code that was written? You said, okay, I write a new feature in my product that I want you to focus more on that because this is where the most significant code change was happening. Okay, this is a rule. This is an interview. All this scoping is done during this writing of custom rules, and you can change it also later for the next assessments. So you can say, okay, this scan will actually be more about checkout flow. This scan will actually be around trying to hack to the login page or something. So here where you can put all the information that you want and get more dedicated results.
See.
I can see that we don't have enough time right now to do the full demo. I will just go back to because there is two other important things that I want to talk about. So please go back to the presentation if you can. Okay, I will just talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it a little bit more quickly. This is something very important that we built within the tool. In Reflectiz, we are building enterprise tools, and as everybody knows, every enterprise has one of the things that is very important to you is not to do anything harmful to the website. You don't want to Reflectiz to scan a website. And by the way, we are suggesting using it for production also, not just on pre-prod, even though this is a little bit more risky for enterprises because pre-prod is not production. It's not the same infrastructure. It's not the same area. you might find something on pre-prod that is not on production, but also you might find something on production that's not in pre-prod. And the attacker, armed with Opus or Mitos or whatever, they will check your production, not pre-prod. So if something is there, you want to scan it. But from the other side, you say, okay, I don't want you to delete my entire database with SQL injection. So for that, we created the guardrails in Reflectiz. And the guardrails are sitting all over the agent from the first step to the actual sending of the payload, that not allowing the agent to do something that can harmful your website. And this is very, very inherent within the system. This is not something that is possibly to bypass by the agent, because agents are not predictable. The agents are not predictable. The agents want to use it, try to use it, but its reasoning sometimes go a little bit further that you want it to do. And for that reason, we have very, very strict deterministic process that not allowing the system to do something that is harmful to your website. By the way, this is also can be, we just skipped that just now, but you can also define on the agent if you want it to do more risky attacks on pre-prod or only the safe attacks on production. This is very important. And also go two slides. And I also want to explain how it's also work together, because Reflectiz today, as I believe you already heard from us, Reflectiz today is about the hubs, not just about one solution. In the past, we was selling Reflectiz as a Reflectiz solution with PCI compliance, and this was entire Reflectiz. But we always felt that this is not the full solution that Reflectiz needs to provide to customers, because if we believe that website is the most significant thing that you need to protect in order to protect your system, you need to have something that will cover 360 this parameter. So today you have Wiz, for example, if you want to protect your cloud, or you have a Palo Alto or Checkpoint or whatever to protect your internal asset and the firewall and everything. You need to have one place to go if you want to talk about your website security. So in Reflectiz, the entire system is around having different hubs, but covering the entire website. So you have the security hub that provides you information about real-time what's happening on your site, what's happening on your browsers, what the visitor will see on your site. PCI compliance is part of that. You have the privacy hub that also covering you about making sure that you have privacy compliance and you are not in data protection, and you are not violating any rule on any law in your places, on your countries that you're working on. And now you have offensive, and offensive finishing the story by using the same information. And this is all related together. We are using the information from security that could be collected on the security scans. We're using the information that we're collecting on the privacy scans to also enhance the offensive scans that's scanning your website. So you have the 360 coverage, and you have one place. You're going to one alert dashboard and see everything related to your website with the same alert, the same way that you already know from Reflectiz, the same possibility to rescan, retest, and everything. You get it together.
Yeah, and that's really the differentiation that Reflectiz has as opposed to other agentic solutions. It's really the platform kind of solution and the shared knowledge that can feed into different domains like security and privacy, and now offensive security, and kind of have a holistic view of all the exposure you have on your web. So yes, this is definitely an important talking point. Thank you for going over it, Ysrael. I think we don't have any more questions in the comments, but this also will be available later for participants as a recording. I think that's when we're going to wrap it up. Ysrael, thank you so much for making the time and walking us through it. And thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you all I also thank you for joining it. I would just say personally that creating the Offensive Hub on Reflectiz today is very exciting for me. I'm really excited to have. By the way, this is an exciting time to live on for founders of startups and everybody in the technology world. It is very, very exciting time and moments. It was very exciting to create the Offensive Hub. We want to build it for many, many years, but we said it's not the time. There is no enough tools today to do that. And today, once we have, and the world has today the best tools to use it. Was very exciting as we was running to do that. As a founder, personally as a founder, you have to found a startup is very difficult. Times like that with so advanced technology, it is what makes you wake up smiling on the morning and not sleeping on the night, but smiling. So thank you for participating here. Thank you for letting me show you that. And thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I will talk to you soon, hopefully. And of course, have another one of these sessions very, very soon, because there will be a lot more to come. All right. Have a good day. Goodbye.